There's so many different perspectives of life, so many different women, so much different type of wisdom, you know. And then there's the really old, you know, 80s, 90s type of wisdom through life. And then there's really young, where they see a totally different perspective and they have a total different relationship with themselves and life. And what I find is women now, young women now, are so liberal and so in control of themselves. And this is Kate McGrew that I'm interviewing. She has a really interesting story. So Kate, you are a performer. You studied clown.
Mm-hmm. Clowning is a really exciting thing, you know, because I grew up acting. So clowning kind of feels like the opposite to that, really. You know, and I know I do enjoy acting, so I do really get the sort of, you find the place inside of you that could do the horrific things that your character is playing or something. You find the humanity in any role that you're playing, but there's still an element of sort of putting on or bringing forth this characteristic and embodying it, whereas clowning is a little bit like stepping aside something and being able to look at characteristics that way. So what I was telling you earlier is that culturally, in Native American culture, the clown would be sort of a social leveler. So if there is somebody who, for example, is very vain, the person would be walking around, you know, and the clown, the clown would walk behind this person and be dressed in a ball gown of straw and just mimicking him and prancing, and so to sort of point out the ridiculousness of his behavior. And similarly, I was talking about the exercise that we did, and where you would come out from behind flats and you'd put on a clown nose and you'd put on a hat. And this is actually instead of you know, people think of a mask that you hide behind a mask, but what often happens is that it allows you to bring out what's actually kind of hidden inside. So for this one exercise, a very basic exercise, you basically just put on a clown nose, put on a hat, and you step out from behind the flat and you stand and you look at your audience and you just look at them and you allow yourself to be seen and you allow them to see you. And inevitably what happens is people's vulnerabilities comes out. Basically, what we present to the world, we're sort of unable to do that because of wearing the mask and the clown nose. And so suddenly, you know, even if we try to act like we normally act, it seems absurd. Yeah. And so that gets laughed at. Yeah. And then the sort of very vulnerable response that comes out of that also gets a laugh. And so there's like, so it sort of provides a way for us to take ourselves less seriously and to realize, you know, we all have stories and we all have this, you know, these big stories that we're constantly participating in, and they can be very limiting. And even our strengths, we hide behind them and we think, no, these are my strengths. I play to my strengths. But really, those end up limiting us as well, you know. And it's like the places where we're vulnerable, the places where we're uncomfortable, the places of failure, those are actually the more interesting moments.
Because if you identify with a role, you end up petrifying yourself and just being predictable, right?
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
That, to me, I call that the grey dance of death.
And I think that's the thing, is even when you see somebody on stage, something goes wrong on stage, I mean, that's a really exciting moment, and there's a lot of buzz in it, and all of a sudden the space feels alive. And then you go, where am I going to go with this? You know, I think laughter is the most fun thing, because it really it really releases people, you know. And I think it does help us heal, and I think we really can laugh about everything. I think I was doing a show and I was telling her about aspects of the show, and she said, you know, is there anything that's too sacred? The director, I was sort of auditioning directors. Is there anything that's too sacred? And I said, no. And she went, great, I get it, you know, because I really wanted to just everything, be able to really to really make fun of everything, really, to be irreverent in a reverent kind of way, you know. But I did this performance recently, though, and it was the one about sex work and about the fact that if it's legal, basically, for a working woman to sell sex, but it's illegal for the client to purchase sex. And they've tried this certain places because they think that might help the working women. But what happens is that the working women then are going out of their way to be more concerned for the client's safety than their own. And so it's like, which was not the intended purpose of a law, but that's this kind of law to criminalize the client doesn't really work for the benefit of the working woman. So I did this performance to sort of symbolize this. I did this performance where I sat in this sort of beautiful but really grimy and hidden corner, because that's the thing too, working women will work in more and more hidden locations. So I did this performance where I sat and my friend designed this plastic see-through corset and a plastic see-through skirt, and I sat on this chair, and I in the beginning of the performance I just didn't make any noise at all until I had sort of prepped people what was going to happen. They had to give me €2, and if they did, then I served them a drink, and I sat them under my skirt, and I sang a song, you know. So I'm there wearing like panties and nothing, you know, just tape over my nipples and like this see-through corset and this see-through skirt, and I put the people under my skirt, you know, and I thought it was kind of humorous, but also speaking to something quite serious. But I knew that it was challenging for people, you know, to climb under somebody's skirt. But so I feel like I'm constantly trying to find the line, how much I can get away with, what I feel happy trying to get away with, because I don't like to alienate people. I like to bring them along.
Well, how do you see a difference between now and 10 years ago, for example, for you as a woman, for you as a performer, and for you, your own personal choices of what you do in your life?
Gosh, it's so interesting. I think there's this overgeneralization that people feel free-spirited and this expansiveness when they're young, and that they then, as they get older, they feel boxed in and lose that spirit. And I see that, and I see that happen to a lot of people, but that has not been my experience at all. And, you know, 10 years ago, I was researching life, you know, is the way I look at it. You know, living in New York City, I was working as a dominatrix, and I was in plays every now and then, you know. You welcome that. And I think it's a really exciting time. Like, you know, I think for women, for feminism, I think gender politics are really interesting right now. I think that people choosing their pronouns, people saying, I love that I get to ask people, what are your pronouns, you know, and they get to tell me, call me she, you know, or they say, there's even one called Spivak. I mean, there's all these different...
What? Spivak?
I mean, people are making up, like, transgender people and everything are making up words. I mean, gender is such a fluid thing now. People are making up words instead of he and she and him and her. People are making up words that they feel like suits them better. That's really exciting. It was really exciting. You know, it's like that we can just understand it as the spectrum and not be attached to so much to categories. You know, I mean, definitely. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's taken us that long to figure it out. Now we're starting to act on it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, gay and straight and all these things. It's just like, dude, life isn't like that. Nobody is like that. You know, you know, we don't really fit easily in those categories. It's just humans interacting with each other.
A little while ago, you know, those people were called, you know, if you're a transvestite or a cross-dresser or something, they would be, in therapy, it's like, you have a problem. As a prostitute, you have a problem, because that's not normal, and that's not natural, and you need therapy and you need to get over it and become normal.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Screw that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, how are we going to
What's the negative of that you've seen happening to people?
Well, it's just because it's just, in its very essence, ever being able to make the assumption that you know what constitutes somebody's happiness. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and also, and trying to shoehorn people into your little versions of what people should look like. It's like, you know, it's a way oversimplification too of people's lives. You know, it's like sex work. Like, as a sex worker, I know, like, people do the work for a myriad of reasons, like people do any other kind of work for a myriad of reasons, and you know, and every person that you meet has issues. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, we're all, you know, traumatized to some degree. Do you know what I mean? It's like, being a human, we're all so broken, and you know what I mean? But it's like, why can't that be beautiful? And why can't we just just help each other, allow the manifestations of our awkwardness and our brokenness and our nuances be safe and positive, and support each other, you know? And if somebody says, I'm, you know, I do this work and it's good, you know, it's a good job for me, it allows me a lot of time to work on my shows and everything. It's like, for people to say to me, no, you don't, you know, it's from this, that, and the other thing, it's just like, how can you really speak for somebody else? How can you, you know? And why should you even? If I'm telling you, actually what I need are rights, you know? What I need are rights, I need laws that protect me, you know? Transgender people, it's the same thing, actually. I think the sex worker sort of community and the transgender community, and there is a lot of overlap too, because there are a lot of transgendered people working, doing sex work. And I think it's just like, I do think that societies are moving towards being able to understand. I mightn't understand it, I mightn't like it, whatever, but it is your choice. It is your body. It's your body. You know,
and respect that. It's your body. It's your choice. It's your religion. It's your
What, you know? I don't. You know, I know that it's complicated. It's complicated. A woman wants to wear a hijab, and she wants to wear a hijab, and she thinks it's, you know, she feels good doing that. Maybe another woman, it feels like it's, like it's oppressive. I don't know. I don't wear hijab, but for some people to wear it, I wouldn't want to wear hijab, you know. But if somebody wants to wear it, I'm not going to tell them that they're being oppressed. You know what I mean? Like, just live and let live. A whole lot of that, isn't it? It's a whole lot of that. It's a whole lot of that. As we move towards, you know, really just figuring out individually how to treat each other in less sexist ways and everything, we need to allow people to just live their lives. I mean, what is it that, I mean, that's the thing though, it's like, I have to say, you know, if we knew what would make people stop killing each other, you know what I mean? It's just like, I heard Obama say, he said, you know, I don't care what religion you are, it's, you know, you can't be terrorizing essentially for your own purposes. But I went, you know, Obama, they, you know, if what you're talking about is Islamic terrorists, that they don't think they're doing it for themselves. They really believe it, and I get that they really believe it. And whoa, are we in a complicated world? Because I get that they're like, this is really the right thing to do, and that is so hard to wrap our heads around. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you know, of course they don't think they're being evil. They think we are evil. Do you know what I mean? And so it's just like, whoa, we are in a tough one.
And also, cutting young girls' clitoris off they don't feel that's evil. They think it's good for the child, you know, as a woman. Binding feet, you know, as the Chinese used to do. You know, that was considered a good thing, beautiful, a status.
I mean, you know, that's the thing. It's like, how do we, you know, how are we moving forward in ways it's like we are constantly being able to take care of each person individually, you know what I mean? You know, and it is very, very complicated, you know, because there isn't a universal idea of things we can just slap on the entire globe, you know.
Imagine if there was, what would it be?
I mean, I think that wouldn't it be the golden rule? Wouldn't it be like, really treat others as you want to be treated? You know, it's
Absolutely.
like, do you want your clit cut off? You know, yeah. Did you want your clit cut off? Yeah. So yeah, that would be the golden rule, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do unto others, do unto, you know. And I wish there was not a biblical way of saying it, you know. But yeah, treat others how you want to be treated, isn't it?
That's the bottom line, isn't it?
You know, kindness and compassion are just so crucial, aren't they?
Yeah.
Compassion is everything. It's
Absolutely.
really everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is everything. Information, you know, information, imagination, and compassion.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah.
You know, that's what people need. You know, because information is a really important part of it too.
Absolutely.
You know,
it is. It expands your mind.
Yeah. And
what do you think women's role is in the world now?
I mean, I think that the qualities of women, you know, generosity, resilience, compassion, you know, these are, to me, are very feminine qualities, and they're so important. They're so important right now. It's like,
oh my God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
A world without those energies.
Yeah, they're really so important. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the women, we still live in such a sexist world, you know. We are still seen as second-class citizens of the world. We are, you know, and it's just like, it is such a effed up power dynamic, you know. It's just like, and that's the thing, women need to be listened to. Women need to be listened to.
Absolutely.
Women need to, like, but the, you know, this is the thing with sex workers, it's like, you can't, you know, it's like, you cannot tell us about we need to tell you, you know. We will tell you what we need. Yeah. You don't tell us what we need, we tell you. It's time for you to listen, you know. And that's the thing, and I think that, like, you know, of course, I think it would be amazing if women really ran the world the way that men run the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Councils of pretty much primarily women. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bring that on. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Turn it on.
Imagine if it was just 50-50.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. What's the most important thing being a sex worker has taught you?
That's a good question. Wow. Well, it's interesting because starting to do the work years ago in New York kind of calmed me down, basically, a little bit, because I was a businesswoman suddenly, really, and I needed to have my wits about me, and I needed to be thinking very carefully about what I was doing and how I was doing it, and so that, like, immediately became a lot more responsible in a way, you know. And you can see so many different kinds of people and understand that they all want to feel nice and feel, you know, and feel sexy, and like they can make somebody feel sexy, and they want to love and feel loved, and they want to feel pleasure, and they want to, and it's just like, you know, so it's made me be sort of compassionate for all different kinds of people, you know, and really it's made me just think that women are even more badass than I knew we were, because you really just meet I've just met the most amazing women through working, so yeah.
Fantastic.
And men and transgendered people, so.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much.
Thank
It's
you.
fantastic.